Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you like the basics, but I would like you to make a much fancier, a better looking mallet than I'm going to make right now. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to name this mallet head, yeah, 1.0. Here we go. And so I'm going to create, this time I'm going to use the front plane as my sketch plane. So I'm going to create a new sketch right there, and now you know a couple ways. You can just right click and hit sketch. And I'm going to rotate to the front. Um, from here, it's nice to keep this little center mark because I'm going to basically, I'm going to create a rectangle. And but I'm gonna create a rectangle here, and I want this when it revolves, I want it to be what is it? 1.75? What does it say? It says yeah, one and 3/4 inch, and by 3 inches. And so if it's 1 and 3/4, half of that is 1 and 3/4 would be 7/4. So if I do 7/8 as the dimension, so if I dimension this to be 7/8, and I'm going to dimension this to be 3, that's going to be the basic shape. Then what you want to do is you want to come in here and do some cool stuff to it. And so I can draw like a line from here to here. I can draw, and I'm going to not spend much time on this. Um, like that, escape. I could put little, I'm going to do a 3-pointed arc. And you're just going to go in here and you're basically going to manipulate this side of the drawing. And if I took my time, I could make this really fancy. But right now, the important thing is don't touch the center, and leave a little bit in the middle right here, because eventually you're going to put a wooden handle in there. And so at this point, I finished the sketch. I'm pretending to, anyways. I would spend a lot more time, like doing actual dimensions and making sure everything is perfect. But for now, I'm going to say that I'm finished with the sketch, and so I'm going to come up and I'm going to do a revolve, which is Shift W. I don't know why W is revolve, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to select the part that I want to revolve, and see how it left off all of those other gray pieces, because this is a defined space. Then I click where it says revolve axis, and I'm going to click this line right here. And when it does, boom, instantaneously, it has created a really cool, like, gavel head. That's what I'm looking for. Now, to attach this to a handle, we're going to need to have a hole cut into this thing. And I had a lot of trouble with it. Originally, I created a circle on the plane, and I couldn't figure out how, because it was in the middle. It was in the middle of the shape, and so I'm like, okay, I just drilled the hole out the other side, and it worked. So there's lots of ways to do this if you have to. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click on it, and instead of new sketch, I'm going to do offset plane. And I want to offset the plane 7/8 of an inch, which was the width of one of these things. And so I'm going to do that. And so let's see if I can see it. So now there is a plane floating out there, and I'm going to create a new sketch on that plane. And let's see if I can orient it better. So I'm wanting to drill a hole into the center of this. So, and the hole has to be 5/8 of an inch in diameter. And so I'm going to bring over a circle, and I don't want it, well, I kind of want it in the center, but I don't want it right where that center point is. And I want this to be 5/8, so I'm going to go 5/8, enter. Okay, so that's how big the hole should be. Now, I want the distance, I'm going to hit D for distance. I want the distance from the top to the center to be exactly 1.5 inches. That puts it dead center. I'm going to finish that sketch. There's a little hole there, or circle there now. Now I'm going to go in with the hole tool. And I am wanting to use a hole tool. If you haven't used the hole tool before, I'm going to use the hole tool because I want it to be tapped so I can see the threads. And then the size is going to be this time 5/8. Okay, and I don't want it to go all the way through. I don't want to do through all. I want to do a blind. And we want this to go halfway through, so 7/8 of an inch. Enter. Okay, so what that just did was it created threads inside here. And that's my mallet head. So hopefully you can make a really fancy one. Hopefully, this just looks funny to me that this side is skinny and that side is fat. But if I spent the time to get the measurements right. But I'm going to finish this one for now, and that's my mallet head. Then I'm going to come in here, Onshape, create, new document, and this one's going to be the mallet handle. This one's going to be much easier because there's no offset anythings. I don't care where I do it this time. Yeah, let me go with the front again. New sketch. I want to draw a little circle. So I'm going to draw a little circle from there. And I want it to be 5/8 of an inch thick in 5/8 diameter. And I want to extrude that. So I'm going to extrude that circle, but I'm going to extrude it 8 inches. It's a handle, so you want it to be big enough to hold on to. Okay, and then I'm going to finish that extrusion, and then the last thing I need to do, and it doesn't matter which end you do it on, but on one of these ends, you're going to do an external thread. If I totally had remembered what the other one was, this would make sense. But I don't remember. I could go back and check, but I don't care to. So cylinder edges length, let's thread this to be 7/8 of an inch. And then I should just be able to, there we go. I click on the end and I've got threads. So now I'm going to get rid of all of this so it's easier to see. And the origin, go bye-bye. So now I've got a wooden handle with threads. And what do you have to do? You have to put this into your mallet, the mallet head that you just created. So I'm going to go back to Onshape. I'm going to go to mallet head. In this one, I'm going to get rid of all of these so it looks cooler. Here we go. Oh, and plane 1. I can also make plane 1 disappear. And here we go. I'm going to do an assembly. I'm going to insert. I'm like, where'd it go? Here we go. I got this guy right there. And of course, I could have changed the color of it at any point. And then I'm going to go to other documents and backup. And I want the mallet handle. Create a version. Create. Yeah, I really want this handle. Part 1 right here. Boom. Finish. Then I'm going to do not a slider mate. We don't want to slide it. Cylindrical mate. Allows transform. No, I want it. I don't want a slider mate. Maybe it's a fasten mate. Let's see if I can do that. And that. And that is close, but I want it to be stuck in the hole. So cancel. That's going to be it. I want a fasten mate. That. But I want it to be in here. Wow. Let's try that. Oops, that. Why is it not letting me do that? There we go. Let's see. And so if you do it right, then I should just see one thread. I should see one thread right there, and the handle is all the way in. And so now I've got my mallet handle stuck into the mallet head. Okay, and that's going to be it. Hopefully yours looks way better than mine. And again, make it any colors you want. And I'll see you in the next video.